Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the video for Free Pattern Friday, and of course you're watching this on Friday morning. This is currently Thursday evening, but welcome to the weekend everyone. I am so glad that we made it, because what a week. Anyway, I'm not going to even get into that, but anyway, I do have to say hello and welcome. I've had some new subscribers over the last couple of days, so I would like to say hello to you all, and I hope you like what you see. There are lots and lots of videos on my channel for you to go back and have a look at, and I'm hoping that I have got better and better as the weeks have gone on, because I do 3 videos a week at the moment. If you can hear my daughter singing in the background, it's because I've told her to be quiet, but you know what daughters are like. Anyway, I do have some information for you, and to say that this is going to be my last Free Pattern Friday of the year, and that's only purely because I need to have some extra time to get on with what I need to get on with leading up to the Christmas period. So unless I find another video to fill up the Friday space, this will be the very last one, I'm afraid. But don't worry, no time for the tissues, because I will be making other videos, and also I will be returning the Free Pattern Friday in the new year if I haven't found anything to fill it up in replace of it, so don't worry. Anyway, I'm going to get straight onto it, because I think this might be a long one. So grab yourselves a cup of loveliness and a notebook and pen if that's what you need. The patterns will be in the description box, but please bear with me. They will be up by the weekend. I'm just very short on time, and I will just add them when I can. And so I'm just going to let you know, and obviously it's been like that for the last few months, but they will be there eventually, so keep checking back. Anyway, I'll get started. So first of all, I have some wearables for you, and then the categories, I forgot to even say that to you, didn't I? But the categories are a bit of random, some wearables, a bit of random, and some Christmas, and then of course we've got some amigurumi, because I can't leave them out, can I? Anyway, I have got for you today the harlequin shawl, and it's a Karen pattern, and the designer is Margaret Wilson, and it's using Simply Soft. Hold on just a moment. Sorry about that. I've gone to tell her to be quiet again. Anyway, so yes, it's a harlequin shawl pattern by Karen Simply Soft, and this one is measuring approximately 68 inches by 38, 68 wide by 38 long, and the materials again is Simply Soft, and the colour is dark country blue. But of course, if you don't have Karen Simply Soft, then don't worry, because at the end of the day you can use any yarn you like, because I certainly don't have Simply Soft, and so I would be using something just like a simple DK, or even an Aran if you really wanted a lovely thick and cozy one. And you just need to know that it uses single crochet, double crochet and treble crochet and a V-stitch, and all of these are American terminology, but of course you can always convert it. They're suggesting to use a 5.5mm crochet hook, or the size hook you need to obtain your gauge for the yarn that you're using. The pattern rows of the first 7 rows equals 10 inches, which is 25.5 centimeters, measured from side to side, and the first 7 rows equals 5 inches, measured from the center to the point. The instructions are for the picot stitch, a single crochet, chain 3 and single crochet, and then it goes straight into the pattern of the explaining the pattern of how to do it, so I don't really need to go into that because otherwise we'll be here for hours, won't we? Anyway, they're also suggesting to use a contrast. Contrast A is harlequin and the contrast B is the dark country blue. But again, if you're not using Simply Soft, then don't worry, and you can always do it in the colours that you want. But this is the stitch, and I thought that that looked quite a nice easy one to work up, and so I thought I would just show you it. Right then, so now secondly I have got a pair of socks, and they're top down socks, and it's the Cobbler's Cabin that gives us the pattern, and her name is Carol Bollard. The skill level is intermediate, and it is, trying to find the needle, it just says steel crochet hook size 1. Yarn amount may vary depending on the length of the socks, and the chain, the stitches used are chain, slip stitch, single crochet decrease, and half double crochet with a double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet, and the gauge is 14 stitches per 2 inches or 12 rows, and the directions for the large one are in big bold letters, and the small and medium are given in the parentheses. I've only printed the first page, but of course I don't need them because I don't make socks, but I thought that they might come in handy, and when I saw them, because a lot of socks are paid for patterns from what I've seen, and so I wanted to just make you aware of them. And I've got all my patterns today from Love Crafts. The next one we come to is a cell phone, mobile phone for us, or tablet cozy, and I quite like the stitch of this, and that's the reason why I wanted to show you and give you a gift idea for anyone that wants to make up some quick gifts before Christmas. And this one again is a Karen Simply Soft pattern. You don't need to use Karen Simply Soft, but that's fine, and you need to know single and double crochet in American terms. For the mobile phone, it says 2.5 by 5 inches, but of course a lot of phones are much bigger nowadays, so I'm not really sure. You may well have to just measure it and then do the gauge, and and sort of work it out to the size that you need, because the tablet is 6 inches by 9.5 inches. Well, like my tablet is 11.5, so it does vary, and you'll have to just kind of work it out. But I wanted to show you the stitch more than anything. And it says protect your precious electronic devices from the elements with these handy cozies. Also makes a great unique present for those tech hands who already have everything. And you can do, and they're giving them for iPads, tablets, or mobile phones. And the instructions for the tilted stitch are multiples of 3 stitches plus 3. So of course, if you have got an 11-inch tablet, then you don't need to worry. You just need to make sure that in those 11 inches you've got enough for multiples of 3, and then 3 on the end. And then it goes straight in to the pattern, and it's got a strap also, which is optional. So there is that one. And now I'm going to show you a square container. Now I love this idea because if you make it big enough, it can just be a chair side basket, can't it? But it's called an any size square container crochet pattern by Squibbly Bubs. And look, I would just love the fact that it's square, so it just fit in nicely, and you don't have to worry about circles, like a circular one. And I just think it will be lovely and neat beside the chair. And it says an easy to make container with a square base which can be made with any width, height or number of colours, making it a great project for beginners or for using up yarn left over from other projects. The container is worked in rounds from base up and can be made with or without any the handles. This pattern uses both American and British crochet terms. The American terms are given first with the British terms afterwards in the brackets. You will need, although you can use any yarn for the robust container, they recommend to use a thick yarn, which is Aran or even thicker, in a non-stretchy fibre such as raffia, cotton or jute. I used Bobini 5mm recycled cotton cord in black and natural. The smallest sized crochet hook that you are comfortable to use with your chosen yarn. The smaller the hook, the denser your stitches will be, and the better that your container will hold its shape. I used an 8mm hook, and it says stitch markers, a tapestry needle if you're using yarn, or glue if you're using thick cord. That's what's needed. It tells you how to colour change if you're not sure about that. The container on the cover photo is for the example used is 19 stitches. The instructions below are to make any size container, but the end of these instructions there is an example given in the brackets. For example, 19 stitches. Follow these if you want to replicate the container on the cover photo, which is 24 centimeters wide and 15 centimeters tall. So it all depends how much how big you want your basket that sits beside your bed or your chair with the containers in, really. With the containers? No, I don't mean that. I mean with your crochet projects in. And then there's an alternative to a magic hook, a magic loop. The base begins with a magic loop. If you don't know the technique, then chain 4 and join with a slip stitch to the first chain, and then chain 1 and work round 1 into the loop instead of a magic loop, and then joining at the end of every round, join the work with a slip stitch into the first single crochet or double, of course, if it is English terms that you're working with. And then it goes straight into the pattern, so I don't need to read on. But it's got handles and, well, the possibilities are endless. Right, now last week I showed you a snowflake, and I have found 2 more of the other ones. Because if you remember, I did say that there were other links to the ones above, and I managed to print off 2 of them this week. And one is the winter flower snowflake, and the other one is the frosted lace snowflake. Now I'm sure I showed you the flower star snowflake last week. So there is one other one which I did see on there but didn't print out because I forgot all about it. I didn't go back. But that's the sun star snowflake as well. So we'll start by showing you the winter flower one. And I thought that was very pretty as well. I should imagine it will work up quite quickly too. And then the frosted lace snowflake. I think that one's very pretty as well. And there isn't really very much I can tell you about it because I didn't print it all off, except for it uses the Sweet Treat Bonbon from Sheet Cheese which again you don't need to use that. It just means that they'll work up a little bit bigger and they'll be thicker, which sometimes is a good thing. And then you use whatever yarn needle crochet hook that you need to go with it. and it helps to block them and lightly stiffen if that's what you want them to do. You know, if you don't want them to be floppy. Oh, I'm showing you the wrong side. I'm 15 minutes in. Goodness knows what it's going to be like by the end. Okay, so there are these snowflakes, and I just thought that they would be worth showing you, considering I showed you one of them last week. Now we're going to go into the Christmas ones. Now, just let me have a mouthful because I'm getting a bit dry. The crochet pattern that I have for you now is a gingerbread man. Look at that. I just thought he was so cute. His lovely smiley face. I had to show you. Anyway, the crochet pattern is for the gingerbread man, like I say, and it's beginner level. This pattern is only for free personal use. You are not allowed to translate, sell or distribute this pattern without my permission. You are free to sell the finished product. The materials and tools that you need: any polyester cord, beige colour, 4mm, 11 yards or 10 meters, any polyester cord in red, and a 5mm hook. Now, of course, you don't need to use cord, do you? I use DK. I'm sure it'll be fine because it's a decoration. You can use whatever you like, even cotton. 2 brown and black beads, 4 to 5mm, 2 red beads, 10mm, scissors, a lighter and a glue gun, depending on if you're using cord, of course. Don't need to worry if it's yarn so much. The finished ornament for this specific material is 4.5 inches. So basically it would work up a little tiny bit bigger, but it doesn't matter. 10 stitches and 9 or 10 rows to make a 4-inch gauge swatch. And as long as you know what a slip stitch is, a double crochet and a half double crochet, you'll be well away. There is a link to the video of the process, which is 15 minutes long, down there. There is the link for it. So I'm sure if you go onto the pattern, you can click it and see. She's also got an Instagram, which is Smachna Torba, SMACHNA.Torba, TORBA. And there is the gingerbread man. Now we've got some snowman ornaments. Now I'm not sure if I've shown something like this before, because I know I've done lots of garlands and I haven't checked, but I found it and it was a different picture. So if it is the same sort of thing, then it's not going to hurt to have both, is it? But there, I thought they were really, really cute with their smiley faces. So I thought I would just give them a mention anyway. And the abbreviations are in US terms, back loops, slip stitches, decreases and increases with single crochets. And the hooks you'll need are 2mm, 3mm and 3.5mm. The yarn of colours of your in colours of your choice. Stuffing 6mm safety eyes if you're using them. Tapestry needle, scissors, stitch marker, blush for the cheeks, which is optional, and black embroidery thread. And the yarn they've used is Drops Paris. Now I've got some of that and it is quite thick. The pattern is using single crochet stitch, and the yarn for the hats and the noses are yarn art jeans in bamboo. And there are lots of numbers of the yarn as well, but you'll see that if you want to use yarn art jeans anyway. Crochet in continuous spiral rounds. Do not join at the end of each round. Use a stitch marker to keep track of the first stitch in each round. When filling with polyester stuffing, take small chunks and push them through the holes. Do not overstuff it. Please we don't want any filling to bleed through the stitches. Just make sure that you stuff the snowman's head evenly, and the snowman ornaments measure around about 3.2 inches or 8 centimetres wide and 4.5 inches, which is 11 centimetres tall, including the hat. In case you use another yarn, the sizing may differ, but we've already said that as well anyway, haven't we? And then it goes and it shows you lots of photo tutorial bits so that you know that you're on the right track if you are a beginner. And the pattern is by Marina Nicolado. If I've butchered it, I'm sorry, but I'll put it in the description box below. What have I done there? Oh, I picked up that one. That one there needs to come with that one because that's what that is. Oh yes, and there's a close-up picture as well. Isn't he cute? Anyway, moving on. I have got a blanket to show you. Now, I may well have shown this right at the beginning because I've been doing Free Pattern Friday now for some months. And I have got this pattern previously. I've had it a while, but I've done one square to it, but I haven't actually carried on with it because I just found other things to do and it just kind of gets swept along. Anyway, this is called the Christmas Advent Blanket, and it's not a very good picture because it hasn't printed very well, but I don't know if any of you will remember it, but I really love this. And originally it was going to be released 2 or 3 patterns each time to be able to do it in time for Christmas. And a lot of them are colour work, and a lot of them are the squares where you make the separates and then stitch them on. But there's Christmas puddings and snowflakes, deers, presents, stockings, snowmen, and Santa, and the reindeers kind of go up as if they're dancing through the sky, and like on this one. And there's snowflakes, which do the snowflakes separately, and then the snowmen you kind of just attach the top bit to it because you integrate the bodies, and so on and so forth. And I just think it's a really lovely pattern. So I'll put that down in the description box below, and then you can go and have a look yourself. But the pattern designer is Cute Crochet Makes, and you may sell the items using this pattern, but please credit the Cute Crochet Makes as the designer. Your Christmas Advent blanket is finished when you have done the last one. Well, what happens is the pattern is well explained, and each square, they show you each square individually and what have you, but I haven't printed it all off because I didn't want to waste my ink. But if you're interested in that one, just go along and have a look and see, because it may not be your cup of tea once you see what's involved. But if you want a challenge, if you're only just kind of getting into the colour work side of things, then it is really worth it to go and have a look and just take your time with it. And if it takes you till next Christmas, then it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have got a Jolly the Christmas Tree ornament. Now again, he had a smiley face. How happy does he look? Anyway, this one is designed by Deja Joy. It's an intermediate pattern, skill level, and is you'll need approximately 30 yards of I Love This yarn in Jelly Bean. Well, of course, you don't need to. You can just use your scraps up, and that will be the greeny colour. And then you need about 5 yards in brown for the stumps. Substitute any, you can substitute this with any medium weight yarn. So there you go, Aran, or even DK, it's not going to matter, it'll just work up a little bit smaller. Other materials are 3 stitch markers, one as a contrasting colour, 2 6mm black safety eyes, or embroider them if it's for an under 3. Some stuffing, yarn needle, embroidery needle, and it's a 3.5mm hook. A 2-inch gauge is 10 single crochets and 12 rows. The finished height is 5 inches. The gauge is not important unless you want the exact same size tree as I made, otherwise just use the hook that will keep your stitches tight enough that the stuffing will not show through. And the special instructions are, please read through the instructions before beginning, and the pattern will be worked in spirals, therefore no joining of the rounds, just a stitch marker to keep track of them. And then it explains everything about it on the back with the abbreviations and everything. And so there he is. And I just thought I'd show you that one because of the fact it will work up quite quickly if you want to put stuff on your tree. Now we're sticking with the Christmas for now, and I have got a turkey amigurumi for you, and he's called Tiny Tom. How cute is he? Look at that. Anyway, if you have any questions about this tutorial, you may contact me through the message on my Etsy email account at mevsan@etsy.com. That's MEVVSAN, or email hello@mevsan.com. And this is a free pattern that I found, like I say, on Love Crafts. And what you'll need is a 2.75mm hook, some stuffing, 6mm black eyes, scissors, yarn needle and stitch marker, which is optional. The yarn they're using 100% cotton Aran weight yarn, but of course, don't worry, I always use your DK or anything like that, so that's absolutely fine. And it says, or any 100% acrylic yarn in worsted or Aran weight yarn. If you use the recommended amount for the cotton yarn, you should have enough plus extra, because the cotton yarn tends to weigh more than acrylic. The finished size, recommended yarn and thickness of the yarn thickness and the hook size are used. It will work out about 2.3 inches or 6 centimeters tall and 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches wide, including the tail. The pattern is in US crochet terms, and the designer note is, when you crochet amigurumi, I let the wrong side face outwards. All the photos you will see in this tutorial are worked this way, and this is my personal preference when it comes to making amigurumi. If you choose to crochet with a traditional right side facing outwards, there will be no significant difference regarding how the finished piece will turn out, so feel free to crochet this amigurumi however you like. And then it just goes straight into the pattern. And it's got some helpful tutorials if you don't really know how to do it exactly, which I think is always a good thing. And the designer is being very fair by putting it on there so that it makes it easy for you. I just thought he was really cute. You could use him as a keyring or a bag, buddy, or anything like that. So, carrying on with Christmas, I found this wonderful snowman. Look how chirpy he is. And again, I've just gone with chirpiness this time because I just had a look around and thought, yep, that makes me happy. And all the ones that brought a smile to my face, that's what I've shown you this week. So I am going to tell you about this one, and it is a Tenaty crochet, if I've said that right, crochet pattern for snowman. It's 8 inches tall if you use sport weight yarn, which is a fine one. Now obviously if you use bigger, I quite like them bigger, so I think I would use Aran if I was going to make this anyway. But they're using Elise cotton in gold, white, Elise Cotton Gold in white, red, brown. Sorry, forgive me. Elise Cotton Gold in white and red, and Yarn Art Jeans in brown and green. And the abbreviations are single crochet, double crochet, chain, increase and decrease, slip stitch, and single crochet 3 together. And the repeat of the instructions are in the brackets. Recommends for you, of course, you can choose any other yarn. The choice of yarns are completely up to you and your personal taste. Work in continuous rounds, but do not join or turn unless otherwise instructed. It would be wise to use a stitch marker and place it in the first stitch of each round and mark the beginning of it. You can easily sew the toy together by leaving a long tail of yarn to each piece. Before you sew a part, use some pins to perfectly place the part in the right place. If you've been doing amigurumi for a while, then you already know that, don't you? But it's always nice for it to be marked down just in case you don't know. Now we are on to the more random bits that I just found, and I thought I would just show you anyway. And this is a Despicable Me evil minion. It's the first time I've ever seen one. I mean, I haven't watched the films or anything, but look at that. He reminds me of the monsters in my monsters book that I crocheted from week before last. I just think, how fantastic. I really, really love that they've just, well, like I say, I've just never even seen one. I thought he was really cute in a bizarre way. Anyway, this is Evil Minion from Despicable Me, and the crochet pattern is from Ardinia Toys. I love the fact he's purple, although it's a funny old colour because the whole thing is purpley blue. And it's not coming up very well on the camera, but he is purple. And it says the crochet hooks needed because this is used in cotton, and they're saying to use, they're saying to use 0.75, a 1mm and a 1.2mm hook. Well, of course, if you're doing it in DK like I would, you would just use your normal. A sewing needle, some stuffing material, and a piece of purple wool. And that's for the hair, I'm assuming. This toy is crocheted with chamomile and iris yarn. They are 100% cotton. To create the toy with a height of 17 centimetres, the minion's body must be crocheted with single yarn using a 1.25mm hook. The other details are crocheted with this with thin yarn. Use a 0.75mm hook for crocheting the teeth and the buttons. And other details on the crochet are crocheted using a 1mm hook, purple merino wool, combed silver with a 18.5 mic thickness. The stuffing material used in this toy is polyester wadding. This pattern is for personal use only. Sharing information from the pattern is prohibited. If you publish photos of the toys that are crocheted following this pattern, it is better to mention the author of the pattern. You can also use hashtag at Ardinia Toys at Twitter and Instagram to share your toy to see other toys that are created following the Ardinia Toys patterns. So again, I will put it down in the description box below, but I just thought I had to show you because it's just weirdly wonderful. Okay, now I have found a hairy caterpillar, and I always read most days The Hungry Caterpillar at school, and so when I saw this one and the pattern was for free, I was really pleased. So I thought I'd got to share it with you. This pattern is written in UK terminology, and it's The Hairy Caterpillar by Solota, I hope I haven't butchered it, Hooker of 2020. Pattern may not be sold or distributed without express written permission. Feel free to sell the items created with this pattern, but please attribute your work to Solatra Hooker. And the materials are a double knit yarn in red, green, bright green, sage green, oddments of purple, dark brown and yellow, a 4mm hook, some stuffing, 12mm green safety eyes, safety nose of 9mm, a safety stitch marker, a tapestry needle for sewing in the ends. If you don't want to use the safety eyes and nose, then you can just sew them on, of course. The finished length is 25cm, and then it goes straight into the pattern. But I just had to show you because I was overjoyed that I found one that I didn't have to pay for. And now we're going to move on to my favourite. Actually, hang on a minute. No, I won't. I'll leave those till the end. I'll leave those ones till the end. Right, now, I found one that was a lion brand yarn. Now, the last one I showed of this was a puffin, but I found a butterfly this time. And because I hadn't showed a butterfly before, I thought I'm going to show one now. And this is Ava the butterfly. And I've got a butterfly book that is a storybook and crochet book. You crochet the things, you know, as you go along, and crochet the things that the story is about. But for those of you that don't have that book, of course, then it's always nice if you want to have a go. Then this is a pattern that, of course, is free, and you could just do it like that. Anyway, the yarn that they use is Lion brand Woolies, but you don't need to worry about that. And the size is about 7 inches or 18cm. The skill level is easy, and the additional materials: a crochet hook of 1.25mm for the antennae, gold embroidery floss, or sorry, not gold, black embroidery floss or cotton, crocheted size 10 fibre fill stuffing. And the stitch explanations are double crochet 2 together and single crochet 2 together, and the technique used is a magic ring. The notes are: the butterfly is worked in 5 pieces: body, 2 wings and 2 antennae. Pieces are sewn together. Body is worked in continuous rounds from head downwards in 5 sections. Do not join the first stitch of the round to the last stitch with a slip stitch. Do not turn at the beginning of the rounds. Body sections are worked with different yarn colours. Each wing is made from 2 panels that are crocheted together. Wing panels are made in 2 sections. The lower section is worked in 3 joined rounds. Do not turn at the beginning of the rounds. Join the last stitch of each round to the first stitch with a slip stitch, working first stitch of each round in the same first stitch as joined in the slip stitch. The upper section is worked back and forth in rows. To change yarn colour and join to the end of the round, as we've said, every single time you just yarn over with a new yarn and then pull through the loops on the hook so that you're leaving the old and carrying on with the new. To change the yarn colour at the end of the row and continuous spiral, work the last stitch of the old colour and then put on the new colour and pull through. Exact gauge is not essential for this project. We work tightly with a small hook so that the stuffing would not show through. The safety note is: if the butterfly is intended for a baby or a child, be certain that all pieces have been securely sewn together. Do not leave a baby or a child unintended with the butterfly. And then it goes straight into the pattern. But I just thought it'd be nice if you wanted to try something new that you hadn't mastered before. And because I hadn't shown one, I thought all the better time to show you now. The next one is a seal. Now I can't remember if I showed this months and months ago because I do recognise it, but I just don't know whether I looked and thought actually no I won't. But I loved how cute he was, and so I had to show you him. And the size is approximately 53 centimetres high and approximately 30 centimetres length. Sorry, length 53 centimetres, height 30 centimetres. It's not suitable for children under 3 years old. Now they're using luxury velvet yarn, and so if you have some, don't worry. If you have some, then that's fine. If you don't, then you can just use what you normally use. They're using a magic ring technique with increasing and decreasing. It says stuff before joining the pieces together. Do this gradually with a small amount of stuffing and shape the animal as you go. It is difficult to separate the work later on. If you do need to, however, do it very slowly and do not pull too hard since the yarn could break. Sew on the individual pieces with the different yarns such as Katona or Bravo in the similar colour as luxury velvet. It's too thick for this. And then the body, work the head from the top to the bottom and start with dolphin. Well, that's basically it. That's all I've got to tell you about it. But I thought he was really cute. So go along and have a look at the pattern if you fancy him and see what you think. Now, this one should have been in the Christmas section, so it was obviously tucked under and I didn't see it. But who's for a mince pie? This is made in UK terms and it's crochet at Terry's. And I love this. I've made these before because I made one for my friend who is obsessed with mince pies. But it's using Hayfield bonus in champagne and chocolate. The key chain is 3mm crochet hook, a wool needle for sewing, and it's double crochet, half treble crochet, treble crochet, and increasing. Again, it's UK terms, so if it was American, then it would be single and then half doubles and doubles. Unless stated, the working continuous rounds marking the last stitch of each row with a stitch marker before proceeding to the next. When the stuffing parts, make sure that you don't overstuff them, as you don't want the stuffing to show through when completed. And then it's got the ingredients for the ingredients. I was going to say ingredients for the filling. No, the colour for the filling, and then the star topper, and then you just work it through. But it'll only take you about 20 minutes, I'd say, to make it, because it does work up very, very quickly. Now we're going to move on. I found Mrs. Potts and Chip. Now, I don't think the picture does it justice at all. I mean, I love how cute Chip is, but Mrs. Potts looks a bit weird. And you can't really see the spout from there either because the picture doesn't do it any justice. But when I was looking on the internet, I did think they were pretty cute. And they are in UK terminology. And they're using Drops Paris, which is an Aran cotton. But of course you can just use DK if that's what you want to do, because that's certainly what I would do. And I'm sure this one will end up on my list very, very soon because I do love Mrs. Potts. It's in UK terminology, but for the US terminology, they do have a conversion chart down in the pattern, so you can easily do that. And the pattern is worked in continuous rounds, so if you do not need to slip stitch until otherwise stated. But I do advise that you use a stitch marker as you know the beginning of each round. And then it says you can use black yarn to embroider eyes if you prefer not to use the safety eyes. And the pattern designer is Stitch Witch Creations. So I will show you, I'll put it down in the description box, like I say, so you can go along and have a look. Now there's just 2 more left, but one pattern has 2 on it, so it's a double whammy. But we're going to end today with my favourite designer for amigurumi, and I do a lot of hers, which is Sweet Oddity Art. Those of you that have been here for a long time already know that anyway, don't you? But this is Mabel the cow, and isn't she cute? This is a 2016 pattern, and I've printed out the whole thing so I can keep it in my stash. 17 inches from the bottom to the top of the head, with weight 4 yarn and a 3.25 crochet hook. Skill level needed is intermediate, suitable for novice crocheters, requiring patience and precision when assembling the cow and basic crochet skills. She does have a contact information, which is an email for Sweet Oddity Art, or you can email her at Etsy and her shop. The materials needed are worsted weight, approximately 150 grams of the main colour and 50 grams of the accent colour, which is white and black, and then tan for the nose. Crochet hook of 3.5 millimeter hook, 18 millimeter safety eyes, scissors, sewing needle, stitch marker, fibre fill stuffing, and black felt. Do not join the rounds unless otherwise stated. Work in continuous spiral. Use a stitch marker at the beginning of each round, and all stitches are worked in both loops unless stated otherwise in the pattern. Then it just goes straight into the pattern. So again, it doesn't really show you the picture very well because it's on a white background, but he is a black and white cow. She is a black and white cow, and I think she is cute. And now I'm going to show you this one. Now this one, I didn't print out all of it because of there being 2 patterns. But one is Marty the moose and the other one is Lilah the unicorn. 2 patterns in one. What a whammy. And they're free, of course. So I just love that moose. Look at him. Isn't he lovely? And again, you can go along and have a look at her shop, her Etsy shop. She does have a lot of patterns on Lovecrafts, but there is some that you can pay for as well, because I did the okapi, or okapi, which I don't know if I can see him. Oh yes, I can. There, right there next to Kipper. I bought her pattern of the okapi there, and I made that one, and it was really, really good to make. So I do love her patterns. The size is 15 inches from bottom to top of the head, a 3.25 millimeter hook, basically the same as the cow because they're all basically made in the same way. And then if you've got any problems, you can email her. And it's an intermediate, suitable for novices, novice crocheters, requiring patience and precision when assembling the moose and the unicorn and the basic crochet skills. So there, and we're obviously Christmas coming. I think you'll be able to knock it up in just over a week if you just concentrate purely on that. I know all of us have got lots of things on the hooks already, but it can be done in a hurry if you really need it to be, because I can knock one up very simply. And so I just wanted to show you because I just love the Sweet Oddity Art patterns anyway. So that's not bad. A few old mistakes from reading, which happens every single week, doesn't it? So I'm sorry about that, but we finally got there. And I'm sorry that this is going to be the last one, but I need a rest because it does take a lot lot of organising with the patterns, and then obviously filming it and uploading it and what and so forth. So as much as I don't edit my videos, it still takes a lot of time. So I just need to crawl back the time and put it to other things now that Christmas is coming. So I will see you again at the weekend, because it is the 1st of December, and I have got a yarn swap advent happening with Sally from Nanny Moon's Crochet. Hello Sally. And so I will be doing that and documenting that, and I will tell you all about it. Also on Sunday I have my roundup video to do, and that is what I managed to do in November and my plans for December. So I've got to get all that organised as well. So I will see you at the weekend, and then after the weekend I'll see you on Monday, of course. So take care everyone. Please comment, let me know what you like and what you don't like, and I will see you again soon. Keep the thumbs coming and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Take care. Love you all. Bye.